Hello and welcome to the stream. So this week has been pretty intense. One, we moved the show up an hour earlier, and so I'm a little discombobulated, but I wanted to go through with you guys what it's like to be in the DeFi coder space versus just normal dev. I don't know what I'm doing today, but I'm going to try. You watch people do this on videos, trainer videos. I don't get it, but let's give it a try. Hello, folks. My name is Potter. I am one of the hosts of the Build Show. The show was originally started as a path through our crypto journey. We did this in like 2022 early, and things were looking real promising, and then things made a turn for the winter. The winter is coming, and so we've kind of changed Thursdays into more of a show on various topics, but one that seems to have gotten a little bit of an audience is when I talk about development. And so I figured I would try. I'll get better at this, but I'll try to show you guys, the things I did. One of the things that we think is like so important is that nothing that I share, nothing that I do, it's an endorsement or a recommendation that you use the technology that I'm using. So not financial advice. Hey, Cole. I hope you like this show today, because I'm really gonna take midnight sub. What? I didn't realize I got another person. Thank you, Cole, for bringing that up as part of the Build Show. Look, this is on YouTube, and we don't own the ability to control whether they decide to cut us off. So you don't have to like, subscribe, or follow. That was on Twitch. But a comment, like what you heard, but I don't ask you to, because you're probably following a zillion people and you don't need to. So my background is that I started in high school programming, and I kind of got away from it. But then I started doing UI. I worked on Wall Street for a little bit doing front end. Then I worked at AOL Time Warner, where I worked in development support. And there I moved from more of a UI person to a fully back-end person. I was trained by a guy who, you talk about fate and timing is everything. I was trained by a guy who, he wrote like the first credit card readers. And so he taught us the back end of database programming, stored procedures, triggers, you name it. We're using Sybase. And so I got a little bit of an advanced programming mentor. He always thought I sucked, by the way. And by the way, I will also claim I am the best average developer the world has ever seen. So when I was looking into blockchain development last year, I just realized how hard it was to reignite everything. And so I can say that I've been dabbling since 2021, but things started to finally gel as I figured out what Node was, what NPM was, but it was still very basic. And so what I decided to do was start testing out this technology and seeing even if I could again. So let me take you through some stuff that's not just me talking. So in the past couple of weeks, I feel upped my game. Let's see, is this right? I hope this is right. I'll zoom it in because I don't think you guys can see that. That's too much. So this is my GitHub. I've only got like 3 followers on it, but it's not about the following. It's about what you do with it. So in the past few weeks, I've really been understanding a lot more. And what I want to take you through today is how I created a small dApp on the Binance Smart Chain testnet. So I created 2 of them and I made them both public. One is written in JavaScript and the other is TypeScript. So for this one, and I put it out there because I'm comfortable sharing testnet, but not so much, production code yet. So what I tend to do, I'm to the point where I'm actually making READMEs now, right? So, things have definitely evolved when it comes to development. And one of the reasons that I've been able to move from, a snail's pace to a turtle pace is because of AI. So I wrote this first app and I decided, I just want to connect to the testnet challenges, finding any good sources out there that are current that will allow you to connect, finding out what you do after you connect. It was a lot. There's so much research that you have to do. So I created this, excuse me, back here. It's just a small little app, little React app. Didn't do much. No, that's not it. Go to my app. Just a simple code that does basic stuff. And the step-by-step process that you go through is with AI specifically is, hold on one sec, let me turn on my ear. So, I'm not going to walk you through it because it'll be crazy. But when you see things like this is a UI library that I bought in, just basic stuff. But after I did this, I had a little bit of confidence because I was able to create an application locally that went out and looked at a blockchain and gave me data back. I was like, okay, that's great. But I decided to kind of up it one more. And so I decided I have to do this. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, guys, but I don't know how yet. So I upped the game and I created this. Zoomed in. Pushing stuff together. So you're not going to be able to see me connect to the wallet, but I said, you know what, let's just make it a little bit sexier. Let's give it a dark mode and a light mode. I think for the demo, it's probably better that I do that. And then just connect the wallet. You can't see it, but it's prompting you, for the first time, do you want to connect a wallet? And then it's just showing me my transactions on the network. So here's one of the things that it's connecting to. There's got to be a better way to do this. Binance Smart Chain. So this is a whole different testnet. It is specific. It looks exactly like the production testnet, except it's the test one. So everything that you see, if I was to show, if I go back to my wallet, will it come back up if I just select it? No. So guys, I have to keep shutting this down and restarting it. And then you got to click on another one, and you got to click on another one. Maybe I'll set up a virtual desktop next time, and then I won't have to go back and forward. Let's get to the code. So on this one, I decided I'm gonna create an app that does all the things you just saw. I contacted a test net, and normally what I was doing was I was just keeping it local, right? I would go, oh hey, this looks great, but what good is it if other people can't use it? So if you have the ability to or understand how to add the Binance test net to your MetaMask wallet. By the way, I suggest when you're dealing with a test net, you use a wallet that you're never going to use. It should not be used for production, so that's what I'm doing. But you want it, on your first approach, you just want to put everything together, right? And so all of my code initially, it was kind of like all together. It was like kludged all together. This is wallet monitor. I'm going to go to wallet info. As you can see, there's a reason why I only have 99 followers. I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't have any structure either, guys, right now, because I really don't know how I'm going to manage this going forward. But one of the things that I wanted to do was I said, hey, I want to connect to something outside of me. I don't want to just do everything locally because there's no proof. So what I found was Firebase. Firebase is a really cool Google hosting solution. And it allows you to take your application and host it relatively easy. So I've added that stuff too. But generally what you like to do, you like to put everything all in one file. I mean, if you don't want to start breaking up and componentizing your application if you don't know what you're doing yet. So by working with AI, you can have a level of confidence that says, okay, if I break it, I can put it back together. The thing that you're seeing on a lot of these videos out there is it says, oh, you can tell it to create a website. You can get it to connect to a database. You can. But yesterday, for example, I had this huge page when I hadn't broken this page up yet. I had one bracket error. And I just got lazy and I was like, hey, AI, can you let me know? Here's the code. Do you see anything wrong with it? AI said, ChatGPT specifically said, no, perfect. I'm like, it totally says in the terminal, packet being refused because it's missing a bracket. It expected it. Now this page was at the time hundreds of lines long. I didn't know where to look for a bracket. So I said, you know what? Maybe I've been working with ChatGPT-4 too much. Let me take it and let me put the code into 3.5, which is an idiot. I love ChatGPT, but 3.5, it's a fluffing idiot when it comes to helping you with coding. Just don't do it to yourself. The thing that you have to understand, like in my example with ChatGPT-4, is I said, hey, do you see anything? And it's like, no, it's perfect. You have to be a programmer to understand, to really flow with it. But it's better than starting with nothing. I know for a fact that it has doubled my production speed. And it's why I went from, hey, I kind of want to create a test app locally to, hey, I want to publish this on Gitcode. Hey, I want to up my game and I want to include not only JavaScript, I want to use TypeScript. Why do I want to use TypeScript? That's another video, but at a high level, it just does a lot of stuff that NPM just doesn't do securely, and I just feel more comfortable with it. There are other things I'm going to add, like Vite and Vercel. There's all kinds of stuff to add. So what I originally tried to do on my blockchain walk was I said, you know what, I'm going to take this super class from DAP University, and I'm going to understand it. And I've talked before about how difficult that was, because you can't understand the technologies. You don't understand what's blockchain. You don't understand what's Node. You don't understand what the packages are. You don't understand the JavaScript. You don't understand your connectors. So that was a lot to do. But when AI or LLMs, I'll go with ChatGPT. When ChatGPT came into place, I was like, well, what does that mean? How does that work? And I had already started to desegregate the understanding of them, but I still didn't get it yet. So, for example, this code here, where are you, babe? Like this code here used to be all on the page. Now, what I have, so let's take a look here. So you have header, right? So what this is doing is it's passing in these things called props. When I used to hear the word props, my skin used to freak, because I was like, what's a prop? Why are they making up all of these different calls? Like, what is all this? What's a hook? What's a promise? What's async? So this, I'm allowed in a DApp or an app using React to pass in properties and not have them all on the page. So let me go back to the top. And so what I started doing was I was like, this is me evolving as a developer, guys. You know, I used to have very small code, and I should say re-evolving. I used to have small code packets, and I did something. But what happens is you start getting bigger. Like, I always up my game because I've been a developer in real life. I mean, that was my job. So I had to understand code. When I was doing it here, it's kind of like, I think I want to understand code, and so I'll do it, but not for any reason. But then I became motivated. The more you learn, the more motivated you become. So all of this code here, this used to be in that return statement that I had. But not only was that in the return statement, I had these other lines of code. So let's go back to this. In that long one page, and then I put it in the components. Let's go to Connect Wallet. Right, so all of this code, as you can see, this looks familiar. This is a property that I can set. And let's go here. Let's go back to the. So this page, as long as it is now, what are we now? What are we up to? You know, like 150 lines of code. This is now a lot smaller because I'm able to compartmentalize it. You cannot do this kind of thing with ChatGPT out of the box. ChatGPT will tell you, hey, you want to create an app that looks at a blockchain? Sure, here you go, here's your code, good luck. Hope it works. Let's say it works perfectly. Then you say, you know what I want to add? I want to add this. If you don't know how to speak to a chat bot or understand how to code, it's just going to be a hard life. I mean, what you're seeing, this didn't take a few hours. This took days, right? And it took days of failure, and more failure, right? All you do is you jump ahead and you come back. And when you're dealing with an AI bot, what you're also discovering is it lies. It doesn't lie, but it doesn't tell the truth. It misinterprets things you say. It gives you code that says, here, this will fix your problem. It doesn't fix the problem. Yesterday, I had gotten so far away from something trying to troubleshoot that I went back and the code looked like nothing that I had seen before. But the beauty of Chat GPT is if you can go back to where you kind of feel like, you broke off, you can make it reassess itself, saying, hey, let's pick up here and let's start again. You can just re-ask the question, copy and paste based on the things that you've learned. You can go back to where you were. So for example, I made hours and hours of changes, and and I say we because I feel like Chat GPT is my junior developer. We just went so far off the path, and it was just like I didn't understand the code for is this app? This is my app TSX. I need to update this. Let me see something. Oh, I know what it is. It's probably I didn't push the latest branch. Eek. All right, so this is the one that's working, but I have another branch locally. The nuances of trying to figure out how to do this stuff. But I've created far more components that have to be imported. And I've done that because the application just got more and more sophisticated. And it's just hard to put it into words. I'm finding out live what I did. In my head, I could tell you everything I did. I know the steps that I took. I know the relationship that I'm forming with ChatGPT and understanding what it can and what it can't do. Here's a pro tip. I already gave you a pro tip. When it starts to get really far away, just bring it back. I use VS Code, so Control Z is your friend. And what Control Z can do is it can show you, hey, here I am, and I'll show you guys that in another video. I've gone for hours and I've changed a whole bunch of code. But let me go back to a point where I don't have errors at the bottom, because I know when I don't have errors at the bottom is the moment that I check my code into GitHub, right? After you get a good build, stop yourself and just check it in. So, I've done that. 1 second. Give me a second. Another pro tip is when you start a project, create your chat tab and just make it that one project. You have to use ChatGPT 4 for this. ChatGPT 3.5 will just destroy your life. It'll make you wonder why you're ever a programmer, because it just comes up with outdated data. Now, even with ChatGPT 4, it's outdated. So one of the bonuses about what I did with the simple app, back here, repositories. The unique thing about this one was where are you, babe? As you can see, this one was local. And the things I had to do, because when I first did this one, I didn't even understand that I was building an API server locally. I'm going to show you guys. Where are you, babe? Not being nice. I can't remember. So the unique thing that I did on this one was I made it work with ethers. Yeah. So I made it work with ethers, and ethers is a specific package that's for the Ethereum blockchain, but ChatGPT only knew the 2021 version, and it's 2023 now. So that made it incredibly difficult when it was referencing something like utils.find. Meanwhile, in 2023, there was no such thing as utils.find. They pulled it up a level, so now it's ethers.find. That kind of thing. That's where you as a programmer has to come in. You can't just hope that it's going to create it. And as a cybersecurity person, it made it even tougher because I didn't want to produce, code that was going to be a problem, later. So there's just so much. I don't want this to turn into an hour show when I'm barely putting my thoughts together. Initially, I went from, saying, let me take advantage of code spaces. There's this thing called code spaces that you can host your own website, but at the same time, it doesn't really give you the ability to create it like a true dApp. A lot of people, you'll see that there's front-end developers and there's back-end developers and then there's full stack. That's just putting them all together. And I'm a full stack developer. So a lot of the things that you'll see online for these training courses, they're more front-end. And there's just a whole different level of a jump when you move to the back end. Thankfully, when I came in to this again, Firebase was developed, which made it almost seamless for me to take my code and upload it to an application via Firebase. God, I'm trying to rush so much stuff, guys. I think I have to make more videos that aren't going to be live. Here, so this was something that I stepped through using my Google Console. It's free. It's pay as you go. So I was able to say, hey, I just want to host. I just want to create a host, put this all together. As you can see, when you first think about your development, you think, oh, how hard can it be? But it's really hard. Oops, let me do that. Go here. Colin, is this making sense, guy? Am I all over the place? How am I doing? I could have had a talk to you guys about the test net. I could have had a talk to you guys about EPM. I could have had a talk to you guys about Yarn. I could have talked about TypeScript. I could have talked about ChatGPT. It's just so much, and I have so much time as a person who's retired now to do this, but I'm building it because a lot of my, hopefully, clients will want the ability to exploit or take advantage of these tools and be ahead of their clients by using it, because everything's an app now. Nothing's just really a website, from what I hear. Back to StreamYard, and then go back. Just stop sharing. My hair looks like how I feel. Let me just go through my notes one more time. Yeah, I talked about code spaces. I talked about the app. I showed you the app. Let me also show you guys something. If you want to follow me in other places. Screen, window, gray medium. Okay, go there. So this is where I am. I'm going to go dark mode. So this is my Medium site. As you can see, I have a loyal one follower. I'm following my own, I'm following my own line. And this is where I kind of go a little bit deeper into stuff, guys, because I can't necessarily talk about this stuff on the show because, Yeah, and it even includes stuff about the paranormal there. I can't talk about this kind of stuff on the show because the things I talk about are a little bit more advanced. So I'm trying to find that fine balance between, what's too much and what's too little. Cole didn't respond, so he fell asleep on me. Cole, no pressure. I was just saying that. And so you can follow me there. I'm on Twitter as well. And hopefully I'll develop a voice in this and I'll be able to present better. I'll have more cogent thoughts on, specifically what I'm going to take you guys through and feel like I didn't just give you a nuclear blast of information, but like had a structured path. What I wanted to show here is how all the things that I showed you are not just, hey, I can create an app and I can create a game, and just by telling ChatGPT, that's false. You have to go in knowing that it's going to be hard. I know that's what she said, right? Not Ray, Utopian. But you have to go in knowing that it's difficult. There's a lot of failure. But on the other end, if you just sit through and you accept that failure, you will get better. And if you're using ChatGPT, another pro tip, ask it, what does that mean? But don't think that you're going to develop an application that's client ready and you're not going to get hacked. Even down to your environment variables, the way that those are passing in a React app versus just a JavaScript app. There's so much. So one of the things that I put myself to as far as the drip community was a test. I said, hey, I'm going to create a drip UI before they launch theirs. I'm a lot closer, but I'm still very, very far away. We'll talk about drip stuff tomorrow on tomorrow's show. The show went a lot longer than I thought, but I guess I had a lot to say. So Cole, thanks for joining. And until next time, guys.